In today's video, I'll talk about the new upcoming weapons in Phase 2 of 4.1 alongside Risley's weapon, plus the two new 4-star weapons that are a bow and a polearm. Also, I will let you guys know all the weapon Ascension materials that you're going to need for all three of these weapons so you can be ready for each of them that you like. And if you don't want to watch all the way through the video, I will put a timestamp for each of them so that you guys can check it out. Also, 97.8% of you guys are not subscribed, so do me a favor and press that button and check out my other videos, and trust me, you'll definitely find something helpful that you'll like in my channel, and I would highly appreciate every single one of you guys as it will help me out more than you think, so thank you in advance. Now let's start the video with Risley's signature weapon, Cashflow Supervision, which at level 90 it will contain 674 base attack with 22.1% crit rate. That obviously will be the best weapon for Risley, at least as of right now, and his passive and stats are perfectly balanced with his kit. And since each normal attack hit is cryo infused, the bonus attack speed at max stacks also equates to better elemental damage and application. And one thing that is also interesting is that Nuvolet can probably use this weapon too, but with the downside of the attack speed buff being wasted on him, so Risley is probably one and only perfect candidate for his weapon. I will read the passives of this weapon and let me know down below in the comments if you think this weapon can work with someone that I might have forgotten, aside from maybe Haizu in some cases for the crit rate stat of the weapon and the fact that it works with characters that are focused on normal and charge attacks. So the weapon passive at refinement rank 1 is attack is increased by 16% when current HP increases or decreases. Normal attack damage will be increased by 16% and charge attack damage will be increased by 14% for 4 seconds with a maximum of 3 stacks. This effect can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. When the wielder has 3 stacks, attack speed will also be increased by 8%. Now, do I think it's a good pull? Remember, I never advise going for the weapon banner because at the end it's just suffering and depression, just like when I got on Forge Claymore 2 years ago. I'm still sad. But if you have extra wishes and you really want to main Risley as your main DPS, then it might be worth it to try your luck, but don't overdo it. And if you didn't get lucky, don't worry, there are more alternatives that you can use later on, and I will definitely make a quick guide for Risley when he actually gets released. And for Ascension materials for his weapon, you will need transoceanic materials that I'm gonna show you guys on the screen. They can be obtained by tracking down Phantom or Aberrant in your adventure handbook, and you will also need these pocket watch materials that I will also show you guys on the screen by tracking down Fatui operatives from your adventure handbook. Lastly, you'll need these weapon Ascension materials that you guys can see on the screen by farming in Echoes of the Deep Tides domain on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So let me know what you guys think of this weapon and I would gladly read them. Now let's talk about the new 4-star weapon, starting with the new bow range gauge, which would provide 565 base attack with 27.6% attack bonus at level 90. This weapon is decent for DPS characters because of its passive and attack substat, as well as the elemental damage bonus buff it brings, but using this weapon requires some consideration of bringing a healer for the team to constantly trigger the weapon's skill, since the skill is as following. When the wielder is healed or heals others, they will gain a unity symbol that lasts 30 seconds, up to a maximum of 3 symbols. When using their elemental skill or burst, all symbols will be consumed and the struggle effect will be granted for 10 seconds. For each symbol consumed, you gain 3% attack and 7% all elemental damage bonus. The struggle effect can be triggered once every 15 seconds, and the symbols can be gained even when the character is not on the field. I personally think this weapon is going to be useful on a few characters. One of them would be Linny, because he can easily proc the weapon skill to increase his attack and elemental damage bonus all by himself. And since Child and Yoimiya scale off of attack, they can probably use this weapon too, but they need a healer on the team to take advantage of its passive. Again, if you believe it works on a different character, let me know down below and I would love to read them. For the Ascension materials for this weapon, you will need these Tainted Water materials that I'm gonna show you guys on the screen that you guys can obtain by tracking down Tainted Hydro Phantasm in your adventure handbook. You will also need a bunch of these transoceanic materials by tracking down Phantom or Aberrant once again in your adventure handbook. And lastly, you will need these weapon Ascension materials that you can obtain by farming for them in Echoes of the Deep Tides domain on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, and the amount of each that you'll need will be on screen, so you can pause and write them down if you need. Now for our last new weapon, we have a new polearm called Prospectors Drill, which at level 90 will contain 565 base attack with 27.6% attack bonus. Now, same as the bow, this can work for DPS characters like Xiao, since he loses a lot of HP during his burst and is always paired with a healer to begin with, so he can take full advantage of this weapon, and maybe Shenhe because of her elemental skill buff being scaled off of her attack. But remember to bring a healer for the weapon passive to work. I was going to include Xiangling, but she needs to be on field and take a lot of damage to work, but she doesn't really require a lot of on-field time usually, so I doubt it's going to be great for her. Since the passive of this weapon is, when the wielder is healed or heals others, they will gain a unity symbol that lasts 30 seconds, up to a maximum of 3 symbols. When using their elemental skill or burst, all symbols will be consumed and the struggle effect will be granted for 10 seconds. For each symbol consumed, gain 3% attack and 7% elemental damage bonus. The struggle effect can be triggered once every 15 seconds, and symbols can be gained even when the character is not on the field, so I would like to know what other characters can use this weapon. For its Ascension materials, you will need old operative mats that I'm gonna show you guys on the screen, that you can track down Fatui operatives from your adventure handbook and farm them accordingly. You will also need gear materials that will be obtained by tracking down Clockwork Mecha from your adventure handbook, and the amount as always will be on the screen for you guys to see, so don't forget to write them down or pause the video. And lastly, same as the bow, you will need these fragments as Ascension materials for the weapon that you can farm from Echoes of the Deep Ties domain on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. So pretty much these are the new weapons that will be available in the phase 2 of 4.1, and I would love to know if you guys are interested in these weapons or not. And in my opinion, I think the Duckhand's Assistant Sword in the first phase was more impactful than all the new 4 stars because it was so unique with the HP percentage substat that it had. But then again, it depends on who you're using these on, so let me know what you guys think about these. And if you're interested in more Genshin Impact content, including guides, updates, and important news, don't forget to subscribe, as we are just getting started to grow, and I will definitely make more and improved content, so I would highly appreciate all the support that is coming my way. Have a good day or night, and peace.